I'll kick things off. This is Sean Lennon with Pro Wrestling Enforcer Podcast. And listen, right now we are welcoming Kris Wolf today. And now Kris has been a huge star at the World Wonder Ring Stardom, one of the top women's wrestling promotion in Japan, and retired April 26th. She announced it, obviously in character in January. We found out the sad news. She won't be, part of the wrestling, the wrestling business. However, she's also, been a former champion at AWS as a women's champion, high-speed champion from Stardom, and really one of the few American-born wrestlers to be successful in Stardom. And she was also ranked number 28 at Pro Wrestling Illustrated, top 100 women's wrestlers for 2018. So we welcome her to the Pro Wrestling Enforcer Podcast. And Kris, how are you doing? And welcome to the show.
Great. Hey, I do think I wasn't one of the few successful ones of Stardom.
Okay.
There are a lot of the WWE girls who had their first tours in Japan with Stardom. So I think, they're definitely up there. But I do think I am unique in the sense that I am one of the few, if not only American-born female wrestler to start in Japan. I think that I can say. Can I say that? I think so.
Yeah,
it's on
I
Wiki.
think you were the only non-Japanese trained woman through Stardom.
I mean, I think I'm the only non-Japanese
person. Is it American or I was looking at maybe the Wiki thing was wrong.
No, I mean, I'm the only female American to start, to be trained in Japan.
Okay.
I didn't have any previous training abroad. I mean, the special thing about training in Japan is that, they've already established their name. At least that's what it was initially. Now it's more open. So a lot of new girls are getting their chance to sparkle and learn all sorts of stuff now. Whereas before it was people who've been in the business for a while, they've really made it when they've gone to Japan, because then it's the Japanese people hear their name and they're like, oh, I know who you are.
Wow.
Come on over.
Instant success overnight,
Yeah, your Tony Storms and your Deanna Prazas and stuff like that went over there and just blew up over there.
Yeah, they were, they've both had impressive careers in their own countries, but I guess going to Japan where they have such a mix of people watching, they became more of international stars.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's huge. And talk about your biggest influence on becoming a pro wrestler. Who was there a particular match or particular wrestler that caught your attention?
I mean, it was mostly Existential Crisis, but I guess when I found out what pro wrestling was, the match that I saw, my memory is getting foggy, to be honest, but it's somewhere, it was definitely a Stardom match, and it was either Natsuki Tayo versus Yoshiko, or it was Mayu versus Yoshiko, or it was Kairi and Act. Those are the ones that I remember seeing first and not really knowing who they were, and then seeing them in person, because then I went to my first show probably a week or two afterwards after I'd contacted the promoter, and was seeing them live that was just I don't know, I wanted to be part of that feeling where you could feel like you could do anything. These girls are doing crazy shit. It makes me want to do crazy shit. Can I give other people the same feeling of
right? For sure. And yeah, definitely it's addicting, right? Once you get started, pretty addicting.
Yeah, I think when you start seeing progress in your skills and your body, and you see the changes, you see these little goals getting accomplished. Check, check, check. Oh, okay, I can do this. I can learn this. I think that's where my addiction started. And also just having control over my body. You don't realize what you can do until you start trying,
Right.
We move in this space in such a linear plane, walking forward, walking backwards. But the truth is we can do so much more. We can do fucking cartwheels. We can do tumbles and crawl on the floor. We're wiggly little animals at the heart of it.
Wow.
We were talking earlier today because you had a Patreon stream, and we watched the wrestler episode that you were featured in.
Yeah.
And we talked about in the Patreon stream about they showed a part with Viper, who's now Piper Nevin in NXT UK.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about the growth. You said when she first got over there, she's lost a lot of weight, slimmed down quite a bit since that was filmed about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And just the growth you said during the time she had that you saw, was incredible. But also with the wrestler, how does it feel to be featured on something like that when there was Tony and Viper and all these other, UK girls that were already known in the scene? How does it make you feel that they chose you?
So, it's also funny because like I think everyone is big to me, right? So it was actually, I think someone pointed out to me that like Viper had lost weight in the past 2 years, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right, because I know she's like more like muscly, right? And she had that consistent. She's always been consistently agile, like no matter what weight, she's always had the skill and the talent and the ability to go. As far as being on the wrestler, this is the funny thing. I knew Vice was big because I watch Vice things all the time. They have a really good show and a great way of reporting to really dig into topics and things. So I was excited to be a part of it because I was like, oh, well, this will be interesting. Like the Japanese wrestling world is fucking weird and complex the way that life is, but in its own little space, which is filled with drama and action and then everything that happens behind the scenes. But like, and I was just thinking that actually about how, I did get to train with all of these amazing, talented, famous people, but I never saw them it's like I always admired them and loved them for their skill and their talent, but I didn't see them as anything beyond my friend because we're there sweating and jumping and just training and then drinking at Roppongi or some shit or just walking and feeling lost. So I feel fortunate to just be like it's weird. Like I realize that they're important. I realize that Vice is important. But I also, I don't know, it just feels kind of like I'm simply in the flow. That's all. I like things are happening and I happen to be here. The end.
Definitely, and I think that's what it's more successful when they capture you when you're not trying to put on something for the camera. It capture your essence in its most natural state, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think like we've talked a little bit about this about like wrestling and characters before, in some of the Patreon streams that I do or in the live chats. Oh fuck! I just got distracted by my food. Focus, 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 focus. Okay. So can you say that last thing that you said?
Oh, I was just saying that it seems like it captures the essence of you. You're not trying to,
Okay.
in your
Okay.
natural
Thanks.
state.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I think wrestling is cool because it's stories, right? And it's creativity and it's however way you want to put yourself out there or who you want to be. And I think for myself in my life in general, I just wanted to be myself and learn like how can I be the best me I can be. And so perhaps because I am but a simple animal that I couldn't possibly fathom being another person or I think that takes a lot of talent like acting, right?
Sure.
To be another person and to act in a way that that character would react and to do all this stuff. I think I feel very lucky to just be able to react how I naturally would feel and not think about any other extra stuff, you know? Um, so what was my point? Fuck. My character was an expression of myself. But I think that's what everyone does, right? Like, it's just that some people have a more sophisticated taste on it. They're like throwing in olives and, it's a dry martini that they're serving. I'm just like a beer.
Sweet. Definitely. That's more like a safe approach too.
Yeah.
Without, complicating stuff too much.
But what is safe in wrestling?
True.
A headlock.
Maybe. I mean,
Aaron
depends.
Corbin.
Like, I don't know if you had heard this story from one of the other girls that were visiting in Japan, but this one girl was a headlock being done by one of the Japanese senpais, but she was like shouting and screaming, "No, no, 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 no!" And that made the senpai mad because in a real headlock, or in in the move that she had, she wouldn't be able to scream. Was it a headlock? Yeah.
Headlock
So
goes
she just
over the
tightened
mouth. So you should, yeah.
it. And she was just
Ear
like,
over the mouth.
True. Yeah, you gotta follow the logic there. And like, did you feel about having this outlet, such as other interests, where most younger wrestlers, they're being forced to retire, deal with depression, drug addictions, and some don't find a reason to continue living. You have an outlet, you have a lot of connection with your fans. You do, like you said, you do Patreon streamings, you do photography. You feel like that's important, post retirement?
I mean, absolutely. I think it's anytime you dedicate your life to something and you put in the time and the effort, no matter how long, whether it's like 2 years, a couple of months, or like 5 years, 13 years, when you stop, there is a feeling of loss, of more, because no matter how much you try to compartmentalize or say, I'm not my job, part of that becomes your identity, I think, naturally. And so having other outlets is really important and having people to talk to helps you keep balanced. I mean, I think the concern that I have for myself and for other wrestlers is that one of the symptoms with concussions is depression. And in general, the fact that we are more aware of our feelings, our sadness, and the more able to express these things, fuck, I lost it. I lost the point. What was the point? Concussion-based depression can sometimes be a little hard to not define, the other word, to pinpoint, I guess. Well, there's a much more sophisticated word than pinpoint, but that's what I mean, the fancy word. Right. But like, but to be fair, maybe I do feel like you kind of go through those feelings anyways, whether you're in wrestling or you're working whatever job you are, or you're, feeding your family. There are always going to be ups and downs, and there's always going to be those moments of doubt and sadness. And so you need to spread it out. So like, you're not relying on this one thing to keep you standing.
I almost think that wrestling be worse because you get the high from all the fans, screaming for you. I mean, at Shimmer, after, your last match, there was a 5-10 minute standing ovation for you. Like those feelings are, that I just had my first match. I'm trying to, connect that to that, and like how. You have that, every weekend, and now you like, I'm a normal citizen again, and like that's gotta be, when you're going, man, my friends are doing this, and still feeling that, like I can understand that point of view where you hit those lows, and now you're seeing your friends on, Piper and Kaylee and all these other people pop up on WWE, and you're like, man, like what if they call from Young Classic? Like, do I come back? But I'm saying, but like I can see that train of thought going, like.
I mean, like, I think everyone's situation is different when it comes to retiring and like quitting something. There definitely is. I don't know. I haven't listened to my my theme song in a really long time, and I listened to it like I think just last week for the first time in a month, in a month and a half. And I'm, like you said, so used to hearing it every weekend. And that was the thing that would get me hyped before I go out. And hearing it made me have all those feelings. And I was actually watching a video that someone had posted, and I had like this feelings and this rush and this excitement. And I thought, oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun, you know? And I think that jump that I made from having this, as unstable as wrestling was, that was my platform. That was my rock, right? That was there in my life. I knew what it was. And there was that in my wife. And now I jumped into this space where it's like I don't have a stable job. I'm looking for a new career, still not sure, applying to things like kayak instructor or like sales or PCB brokers, whatever it is, just out of curiosity to see what I can be. But I have my wife at least, but there's this in me, it's this unknown space. So like I get what you're saying about the high of the people, and because that's really special, no doubt. Um, but I think the reason why I don't chase it is maybe also the reason why I don't search for high things to climb or like throw myself off of. You know, I like those are all things that maybe at some point I'll search for again. I think right now I'm trying to heal. You know, like there is the strange feeling of what's the word? It's like, what's a good word for like happiness and comfort?
Like solace.
Solace, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like so much more solace for the smallest, simplest things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact that I wake up in a bed that is my own, in my own space with my wife, and I can walk around butt ass naked because it's my space and I'm not on someone's couch. It's like, holy shit. It's such a little luxury. And I also know that I can survive easily on a couch or outside in the woods. And, you know, those challenges make us stronger. But like, I don't know. I'm learning to cook for the first time in ever. And that's also really exciting. I have a place to put my things, not so I can amass more shit, but like I can at least see what I have, not randomly leave them and lose things. And I don't know. They're little small joys that I don't think that I've had for the past couple of years that I am appreciating, even if they sound so silly and stupid. But the fact is, the joy that I am alive has been consistent. I mean, with the fucking depression shit, you know, that feeling wavers, which is what I fight a little bit, but I know that that's not from here. That's like that's this, and I don't know it. But you know what's kind of funny? There is a part of me that is really appreciative to feel this, because then when I feel, it's the same thing, right? Like when you feel really, really low and then you go up, you really feel it. You feel really high, you feel really happy, and you can fucking do anything. So, end rant.
I loved it.
Thanks for listening.
And yeah, man, talk about that song though, Midnight City, M83. Like, what connection does that have for you? That was one of my questions. So you brought it up. Like, why did you choose that song?
You know, there were a couple of songs that I was listening to that season that I was debuting. One of them was Naked and Famous, Young Blood, I think.
Oh yes, I know.
And I really liked that song. You know, I liked songs that had this feeling and drive of something larger than me pushing me into movement. And you know, I just listened to the lyrics of Midnight City, and they're pretty simple. They're, I feel it, but there are more epic lyrics out there. But there was something about the melody, the way that it built,
Right.
is what I thought was so special. And that, like, that note that, like, gets stuck in your head, I just fucking like that song.
Sure.
So I was like, I don't mind listening to this on repeat. This should be a good entrance.
I
Right.
don't remember what movie I was watching, but like it came on the movie. I'm like, wait a minute, what? It turned my head. Okay, for I'm like, that just stuck in my head. I hear that and I think of you, but that's because that's who I associate the song with. The only place I know the song from, honestly.
You know what? I'm happy to share that song with you. I feel like there's a couple of other entrance musics from other wrestlers that have directed me to other bands. So
Okay.
thanks for liking my song.
Thanks. Thanks for introducing it. Yeah, I agree the same way. I listen to songs and oh man, it got stuck in my head because I see wrestlers using it over and over again. At the same way too.
Oh, so sorry, can I ask you guys questions?
Sure.
Sure.
So like one of the questions that I like is what song would you have at the end of your movie credits if your life was made into a movie?
Oh man. That's that one.
Man in a Box.
Man in the Box. How does that go? Can you sing it?
No, I'll break windows.
Isn't it like
so I
Tommy
guess
Dreamer entrance?
Yeah, it's Tommy Dreamer's theme song. It's about like being stuck in a place and trying to break free is kind of the basis of it. And I've gone through that like my entire life and like trying, and like honestly, wrestling is one of the only places I feel free. I feel alive in a ring. Like it's why I've connected with a lot of wrestlers, and that's just really like the place where I don't feel constrained or by, I hate to say it's society, but you can be yourself and you're not looked down upon.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I will have to look that up. What's yours?
Oh, I'd probably choose the Snow Patrol. What's that song? That Called Out in the Dark by Snow Patrol. Have you listened to that one?
I have heard. I mean, I like Snow Patrol, so I feel like I know that one. You want to sing it?
I like that song. I don't know if it'd be like the end credits, maybe like towards the middle or the beginning. But that one just jumps at me.
It would have to be the end credits because that's what the question was.
All right. Well, I'll make it the end credits then. That or Muse, I'm a big Muse fan, so they have their song Starlight,
Mm-hmm. That's one of my karaoke songs.
Knights of Sidonia. Oh yeah, you love Muse too. Awesome.
I do.
Yeah, Uprising.
Yeah, I'm also really bad with names, but Uprising that's a Muse song?
Yeah, that's the one, their main one, that victorious song. Their main one, that we will be victorious.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that one.
I know that song.
The Starlight's actually the song that I would listen to a lot. I feel like I don't know the main songs that get promoted on the radios, or like what's on like MTV if they still play music, but like whatever whatever music people send me, that's what I know those bands for, because I'm very lazy at looking for music. So I got lucky. Someone sent me M83.
Oh, okay, cool. That's really cool, man. And then, I went to Muse's their Simulation Theory, and it was a big monster on stage that was grabbing its arm around.
Excellent.
It was insane. Yeah.
I think I remember that music video. I mean, how could you forget Pink Monster?
True. So yeah, it was just a lot of fun.
Like I was saying earlier, how I associate like your music with your entrance music, and then like the only person I really can think of I do that to is Friday night. I never hear Faint come on. That's all I can think of. Is she's coming up and kick somebody's ass.
Totes. I love that song. Yeah, and her entrance, you feel her intent.
It just the vibe of the whole room changes. It's like that big match is coming in.
True. Oh, I love it. I mean, I really admire wrestlers who have that kind of presence. There's all these different flavors that exist, which is what makes wrestling so special. And it's so nice that it's not like, in a genre of a movie. It's like in this person in this person in this match, and then that completely changes the flavor of what you're
True.
watching.
And then
I
next
have
match is
to
just different.
I have to point out Nate Webb. I don't know if you know him. He's a guy that wrestles around this area in the Midwest, Indiana, Illinois. He comes out to the Wheatus Teenage Dirtbag and he
Dirtbag?
plays
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole song, and he requests the song to be played again. And the wrestlers are in the ring are just so pissed at him. They're like, "Are you serious? No, we're not playing this again." He just fools around with everybody. He grabs a camera, puts it on himself, and I don't know, just has a great time. Like he walks all around the arena, all around to the crowd and everything.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, that's very memorable. And I get that damn song stuck in my head too.
It's a good song. It makes me think of high school.
It does. It does.
Oh.
But yeah, Jeff, you have another question or?
Yeah, I mean, 1 second.
Okay.
Going back to like what I was saying about your last, well, basically 2 shows at Shimmer. How did you feel about, first of all, getting to work with Charlie Morgan, and then at 113 was in New York, be able to work with Ashley Vox, Delmy EXO, and Solo Darling against New Nation, which consists of Charlie Evans. I gotta separate them because Jessica Troy, Zoe Lucas, who's the current RiSE champion, and Steph Delanter, the former Facebook.
Charlie is one of the people that I met in the UK and then ended up luckily working with multiple times afterwards. And it's so interesting because it just makes me feel like you never know when you're going to make friends, I feel like everyone in general is kind of just passing each other. And it just takes that one chance for these paths to intersect. And you can know like this whole group of people. And so with Charlie and Jessica, I was so happy I finally got to work with Jessica as well. They're so fun and so exciting. They're good at what they do. They're such excellent heels. And also behind the scenes are such a joy to work with. Yeah, I knew Zoe in Japan and she was always bright and ready to work. And so, I guess this is kayfabe stuff, right? Because she's like Healy. Oops, whoops, my bad. But she works hard and she is herself. She plays with people and just does what she's good at. Steph Delander, I met last Shimmer, but didn't have a chance to work with her. And so it was really nice to have some spots with her as well. Really talented. I'm looking forward to seeing what she does in the future.
Steph just had a NXT UK tryout.
Yeah, I saw that online. Sometimes I am online and get to see these things. I imagine she's one of the many successful girls because they had a really good lineup of people trying out. But sorry to continue ranting, but to answer the rest of the question, like with my own teammates, finally being able to work with Solo Darling and Ashley and Demi, mindless, Demi's tallness, we're all pretty short. And so that's nice to have like little powerhouses, little firecrackers. But Demi is so sweet and has such long legs, so I'm already a fan. But all of them have this similar energy of positivity and just joy, just I think especially with that last show and the last couple of shows that I've done, it was always with the intent to just have fun. I think sometimes when you do so many shows, you fall into this rhythm and it's kind of dangerous when it feels like you're just going through the motions. You're just doing something and it can happen. But when you have that combination of people and a story and this electric crowd, you can't help but feel the joy in what you're doing. I don't know. Good people equals good times. That's it.
You know,
Sure. Yeah.
Lufisto just said something very similar to that. I don't know if you heard what happened to her. She banged up her knee pretty good and is possibly retiring. Currently scheduled to, but depending upon doctor, that may change.
Yeah.
But she said now that she's taking less bookings, has a shoot job. And she's doing wrestling more for the love of wrestling and picking her opponents and not trying to make it, so to speak. She actually has fallen back in love with wrestling, really enjoying it, and can't wait to go out there and work with these people. And
yeah,
it seems full circle that when you I want to call it, when your time is coming to an end, in that business, in that you're really looking to have fun those last few times, so you have those memories to hold on to.
Yeah, I think Lufisto is a testament to someone who is given, or Lufisto is a strong example of someone who's given their life to the art of wrestling. She has had so many injuries over time, and continued to go on after surgeries, after time off and coming back.
I think she's wrestled 7 years though, an ACL or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and so I have no doubt that someone with such a long career would have those ups and downs, and to have such low downs could only mean that the highs are so high. But I think I don't know. I'd read her book. That's what I'm saying.
I would too.
Yeah.
It's been a staple of women's wrestling for such a long time.
Pioneer too, a pioneer. Right. The death matches. We wouldn't have women's wrestling in Canada if it wasn't for her. She literally fought the government to allow women to even step foot in a ring. Period. In certain parts of Canada. Cool. Without that, we might not have Rosemary. Might not have Allie. She's done more than I feel like is given credit for. And I'm not saying that to just to blow smoke or anything like that. I mean, I really do mean that. She's given, even though death matches aren't my thing, she's given so much. She was the first woman that I can recall just going through timelines that held the man's title, and now we have people like, Nicole Savoy has, Mercedes Martinez is the current AWS champion. Among, I think she has another men's title, historically men's title also to her name. This stuff doesn't happen without Lufisto.
Yeah. I think there's actually for her generation, there's quite a few female wrestlers that are still going at it when they can, right? But I agree, don't receive the same respect that the respect they deserve because of the way time moves, I think. And it's not until someone leaves that you understand what they meant.
Yeah, and to bring it back to you, Kris, I was chatting with somebody online, and they mentioned that I forget who the wrestler was, but after you left Stardom, they went back for another tour, and they're like, "Man, it's different. What's different?" They're like, "Kris isn't here." I don't have that connection. I don't have that go-to person that if I need something and I can't communicate it, I don't have that person I trust to do that type of stuff with. So even though if we as fans didn't see your, because Stardom, WWE, they're big giant places and the gear is grind no matter what. But people missed you there. And that's evidence, so I kind of want to bring that around just to you also to let I won't name who said that because I don't know if they want to be name dropped, but You know, but that type of stuff, you know, that's noticed, and you don't realize, you take that for granted. Oh, there's an American here, or you know, like a lot of the Australian girls got over the UK because Tony went over there. You know, I'm not saying that's a direct impact, but Tony brought a pedigree with her from Madison Eagles and whoever else she was trained by, and it's easier for those girls to get over there. Just like you going to Stardom probably helped a lot of these girls to get in over there because they see your work ethic, and they can look at video and go, well, these girls are doing what you're doing, but not getting our dojo type training. What ethic can they have? We bring them in, and you help break that barrier down.
Yeah. You know, I can't help but think of the image of like grass, right? And paths that are cut through it by people walking on them. And so, you know, in this world, this society, we're kind of told like these are the paths that you can take. This gets you through the jungle of grass from point A to point B. We know what's over there because we've walked there. Someone else has walked. That grass has been trodden down. But when someone else goes off the grass, it leaves, you know, footsteps for other people to follow. And even then, it's not completely laid out the path that's going to happen. It just, I think, what I guess I'm trying to say is I understand it, and I'm just having these weird visions of like grass and people walking through it. I feel like, yeah, you know, I feel proud that I got to be a part of it. I think maybe having me there did help people both in management for Stardom as well as foreigners feel more comfortable that there would be someone there to help them, as opposed to, well, you can figure it out. But I think now they're lucky enough that they've had people who've been on tour there for like 3 times, 4 times, that as long as that person is booked or someone like them is booked, there at least will be someone who can show them how to cope. It might be different, but to be honest, every person's tour every time is different. So my experience is completely different from anyone else's tour, as well as someone who's only been there once versus someone who's been there 5, 6 times. And I know for a fact that someone who's been there 6 times will have a different trip. Will have a different feeling for every time.
Sure. And Kris, I want to ask you, when you hear about women making huge waves in the sport, like, you know, we saw WrestleMania having the first ever women's main event, do you relish in the fact that you're part of that happening? That, you know, in a small part that, you know, that you made that possible? The interest, you know, gain interest in women's wrestling, you know, just by posting stuff on Instagram, people checking out your YouTube channel, even if they've never been to a match of yours, there's interest in you and all these women today as a professional wrestler. So does that, you know, do you feel like that encompasses everything when you see, you know, women headline WrestleMania?
I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I think because it's such a different company, different experience, maybe I don't feel directly involved with it, but I can see what you're saying about the connection in general. I think just as long as you do what you love, you're promoting those that you admire and love within that sport or group. Is that what I mean? I think so.
Sure. And, you know, did you enjoy the match too? Did you have a chance to watch it?
I haven't actually.
Okay.
I've only watched GIFs. So like Jeff knows this. He's hooked me up with like a WWE card for like a 3-monther or a 1-monther.
3 months.
And I have yet to install one. I don't have a TV, and I do keep making excuses, but that's also because I am on a mini wrestling sabbatical.
Okay.
Like
Definitely.
when I did a stream today watching the wrestler and talking to my Patreons, that was the first time that I'd watched. Like that's the most wrestling that I've seen in the past month.
Okay.
Aside from gifts occasionally when I'm online.
Right.
But the impact that it has had on the community, that's what I've been able to see. Even when I'm only online for a few minutes, my feeds are lighting up with the praise for women's wrestling, short gifs, and that part makes me so happy because like I like some of them I might not know, but I know friends of them who are so proud and like they've been doing it for so long and this is what they've wished for all their life.
Mm-hmm.
And to be doing it, to be in the process of doing it, or to be in any stage of doing something that you love is amazing. And man, I mean, I'm gonna use that 3-month card, Jeff. Promise.
And Mae Classic coming
Still
up,
had it.
hopefully.
I still have
Or check out the last couple of Mae Young, because that really, they bring a lot of stuff from outside influence. You know what I mean? You're not feel like you're watching WWE products. So I would definitely recommend that.
I actually saw the first Mae Young Mae Young show. What was it? It was sometime maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh, okay.
It was excellent. I fucking loved it. But I'm behind.
So now that your Whirlwind Farewell Tour is over, like how did that feel for you? That every time you're at a new town, it's your farewell, and everybody's chanting your name. You have people like at Inspire, where Thunder Rosa came out and gave this powerful speech about you and how what you did for her when she was in her Japan tour. That's a person I kind of could say, so we don't publicly said her name, but there was somebody else. How does that make you feel that like not just us fans, but the people you work with has such admiration for you after such a short time in the business compared to some of these women that have been there for 10, 15 years, and you made lifelong friends?
I mean, I felt loved. It made me feel less insignificant in that moment, in those moments when my friends, my coworkers acknowledged that my time meant something to them, not just me. It kind of confirmed that, like, yeah, this was the right choice, Kris. When you decided to be a pro wrestler, this was the right choice. And now, as you go out, hearing them, still support me in the same, like in this decision, I do feel, and now as I'm still wandering through life, trying to figure it out as a civilian, I do feel like this is the right choice. And I just feel so fucking loved. It's great, because no one loves themselves enough. And having people love you is a reminder to fucking love yourself.
Definitely. Well, much love to you, Kris. And again, thanks to Jeff for hooking up, setting up this interview. And that's all I have for Pro Wrestling Forza podcast.
Before we go, can we get Kris to plug her social media? And I have, and one thing else, I have a message for Kris from Leave the Bay. She says call her, message her. She misses you.
Yeah.
She's been extremely busy with AEW and everything else.
That's so
Independence.
Cool. I love it.
I'm seeing her Friday. But she said she's a messenger. She misses you.
I will. I'd most definitely will. I love Leva. And I guess if you guys are interested in, I can't promise you that it's like me eating butts necessarily, because don't know if my wife's into having a camera around. But just kidding, just kidding, wife. But like, if you want to follow this person, this wolf person, whatever I am, out in the real world as I try to figure shit out, probably the best place to go is to the Patreon. Wait, can I cut that?
Yeah,
Let me
sure.
restart this so I can like gather my thoughts.
No worries.
If you want to follow me, there's all the usual places. Twitter.com is like Wolf in Japan. Instagram, Wolf in Japan. YouTube, Kris Wolf in Japan. And what was it? Facebook, Kris Wolf Universe. Yep. Twitch, feed Kris Wolf. All of those I I peek every once in a while. I'm like, hey, this is my face. This is what I'm doing. I'm gonna work on being more consistent, but like a lot of it is also tied to my mood. So I'm still on shaky ground. We'll work on it. But if you would like to follow, I feel I think I'm the most consistent with posting on Patreon. So my Patreon is patreon.com/Wolf in Japan. Is that right? I think so.
Or you can just search on Patreon Kris Wolf and it comes up.
Yeah.
That's also an effective way to find me. But at least for Wolf in Japan, you get things like regular streaming. Sometimes I send postcards depending on the tier. So I've recently started up with shitty Photoshop, and you're going to get a lot of that. As well as if I travel to other places, you'll get that. I also make monthly ringtones.
Oh, nice.
And videos.
And videos. You do get personalized videos. So some people like to send me videos and then I'll send something back, or they send me messages and then I'll send a video back. Some people request for birthday messages to send to their friends instead of having like a message back. It's just, yeah. Yeah. There's a multitude of things that exist, and I like that my Patreons kind of encourage me to pursue whatever creative outlet. So like this last Patreon ringtone is like an erotic phone fiction ringtone.
Oh.
Check it out.
Do you still do the t-shirts? I don't remember.
The t-shirts are for the $50 tier, I think. And that one is a bi-yearly t-shirt that I make by hand.
Oh. Wow.
So I have a couple of them that I'm sending out because they've been Patreons at that tier for a while. And I do one where it's like a monthly Skype call, and it's for 30 minutes. And I don't know. Well, there's things like that, but I'm going to try to be more regular in content. Sorry, that was a really long plug.
Oh no, you go ahead. You earned it.
But
no worries.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you like my crafts and shit, arts and crafts and shit, Patreon's where you go. Otherwise, I make my face apparent sometimes. That's my face. Oh, for those of you that are just listening, that's the sound of my face. ASMR.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate, of course, the time, Kris. It was an absolute pleasure having you on Pro Wrestling Force podcast. And Jeff Bugen, thank you again for setting this up, man. I think we made a friend in life with each other.
Yay!
Yes, and through pro wrestling, and we can't wait. I mean, there's a lot of events coming up, man. We have the RiSE, Pride and Joy, and the Shimmer weekend. So hopefully we'll see you back in the Chicago area, Kris. One day.
I'd love to watch it. I'd love to watch RiSE and Shimmer again.
Yeah,
maybe you can take Bold's spot, and I cannot remember the the group that you were in with Kikyo and that.
Gokumonto?
Yes. Maybe you can take Bold's spot because of the visa stuff.
Oh, maybe. I'll talk to Kevin. I don't know. Like initially I had thought of just staying away from wrestling completely.
Right.
And I do feel comfortable with that decision, but it maybe an appearance here and there isn't so bad. I don't know. What's life?
True. Again, I appreciate that time, and everybody will check this out. It's on YouTube channel. Follow that Fight Lead on YouTube so we get it. Actually, we're gonna be making a separate channel for this as well. But then iTunes, we're gonna be on iTunes with Pro Wrestling Force podcast. So when we announce that, please subscribe, and we'll get the social media up going for all platforms. But you can follow us at Fight Lead Report or the Pro Wrestling Force podcast on Facebook page. Please like that page. And everybody can subscribe and like it and give us a thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast, and we'll keep on improving. And, but this is a huge guest in Kris. So, obviously international star, and we're just honored to have her for about 20, a little bit of time that we did.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Anytime.
Eat lots of butts. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kris.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Kris. Appreciate it. All right, man. Well, I have another interview, but good stuff. I'm going to post it on YouTube, okay?
Yep, not a problem.
And I'll probably, like I said, I got everything on. I'm probably going to combine the last podcast we did with this one, because I didn't post that yet, and then we'll just make it compass one. But for moving forward, we'll make it a little shorter. But for this one, we'll compass both, and I'll try to get that up by Saturday.
Okay.
So, but I'll try to get this uploaded tonight and stuff. I just got to see how I can maybe add some titles real quick to it, and some kind of little intro, but I'm not gonna kill myself over it, but so we can get it up.
In the show notes, throw up the links to Kris's stuff.
Yeah, I will. Just message me that.
Yeah, I will.
All right, sounds good, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Yep. Bye.